3. So today we are going to have a look at finding fractions of numbers. So it's finding fractions of amounts, and we call these unit fractions. So when I say we're finding fractions of numbers, it's like this, look. So 1/2 of 20. Now you could write it like this, 1/2 of 20. What would the answer be? 1/2 of 20 is going to be 10. Okay, half of 20 is 10. If I show you using this diagram, look. So here you go, we've got a circle split into 2 equal pieces, okay, and I've got 10 here, 10 on this half, 10 on this half. So half of 20 is 10. 20 would be the whole, okay? If I had the whole thing, I'd have 20. Okay, let's have a think of this one then. What's half of 12? Half of 12 is 6. Half of 12 is 6. We'd have 6 on one side, 6 on the other side. If we had the whole, we would have 12. So if we had the whole of the number is 12. If we've got half of the number, that would be 6. Okay, let's have a go at a couple more. So, half of 66. What would I write on both sides to make one whole? If 66 is my overall number, so I've got 66 if I had the whole number, okay, but we're splitting that number in half. What would I put on each side, Y3? Half of 66, well, half of 60 is 30. Half of 6 is 3. So add those together, we've got 33 and 33. So half of 66 is 33. Half of 90. What's half of 90? That's a bit of a tricky one. You can't really partition to work that one out. You kind of just need to know what half of 90 is. Half of 90 is 45. 45. So you'd have 45 here and 45 here. 90 would be the overall number. If you had all of the number, it's 90. Half of 90 is 45. Okay, 45 add 45 is 90. Okay, right then, can you remember last lesson I showed you the pizzas and we talked about what do you notice about 1/4 and a half here, look. What is a quarter if you're thinking about it compared to a half? Can you remember? So last lesson we said 1/4 is half of a half, yeah? So here I've got a half. If I half that half, which is confusing, isn't it? Then I get a quarter. So here I've got a half. Half of a half is a quarter. So we're going to use that to find out quarters of numbers. So just listen up then, and it will all make sense in a minute. Okay, so half of 100. So 100 is our whole number. We've got 100. Half of 100, we'd have 50 on this side and 50 on this side. Okay, but this time we want to find 1/4 of 100. So we've got 100 as our number, but we want to find a quarter. I said half. So first I need to find half of the number, and then I need to half it again. So I said half of 100 is 50. What's half of 50? Half of 50 is 25. 25, 25, 25, 25. 4 lots of 25 make 100. Okay? And quarter, you half the number and you half it again. So half of 40 is 20, yeah? And then we need to half it again. What's half of 20? Half of 20 is 10. 10, 10, 10, 10. 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay. Excuse me, Wagyu. So, let me tell you again. So, to find 1 quarter of a number, you have to half the number and half it again. So, half of 40 is 20, half of 20 is 10. So, 1 quarter of 40 is 10. Okay? Let's have another go. So, this time we want to find a quarter of 20. So, we're going to start off by doing a quarter, 1 half of 20. So, half of 20 is 10. 10. If I put them together, I'd have 20, wouldn't I? 10 and 10 is 20. So half of 20 is 10. So when we're finding 1 quarter of something, we're halving and we're halving again. So half of 20 is 10. Half of 10 is 5. 5, 5, 5, 5. If we counted in 5s, let's check that we're right. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20. So the whole is 20, but 1 quarter is going to be 5. Another way, Y3, is you can think about it this way as well, look. Okay, you could do 20 divided by 4. 20 divided by 4. To find unit fractions, you need to divide the number by the numerator. Okay, so there's 2 different ways that you can look at it. And we're going to be spending a lot more time talking about this, okay? So if I wanted to find a quarter of a number, I'd have to divide it by the denominator. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. Or, when you're finding quarters, you can do it the other way that we said, by halving it and halving it again. That might sound a bit confusing, but actually, if you have a look at a half, that's exactly what you're doing with a half. If you had to find half of a number, look, if you're doing half of 20, you're still dividing it by 2. You're still dividing it by the denominator to find the answer. So actually, it's not that tricky really. If you think of it as dividing by the denominator, then you'll find the answer. We're good at finding half of things anyway because we've had a lot of practice, but it's a bit trickier to find a quarter of something. Okay, so with your work today, what you're going to be doing is finding quarters of numbers. So you can do it one of those 2 ways. You can either divide the number by 4, or it's probably easier just to half it and half it again, okay? So you've got quite a few to do. You've got 8 to do. So half of 8 is, so you'd have to half 8 and then half it again to find 1 quarter, okay? Because a quarter is half of a half. That's why you're going to be halving the number twice. Let's just have one more go. So, we want to find 1 quarter of 44. So, half of 44 is 22. 22 add 22 is 44. So, what's a quarter of 44? Well, we need to half 22. So, half of 22 is 11. Okay. When you're finding the answer to these questions, Y3, you might want to do a quick diagram. Okay, you could do a quick diagram like this, look. Let's just do this first one together. So, half of 8, you know half of 8 is 4, but we want to find a quarter, so we have to half it again. What's half of 4? Half of 4 is 2. first that a half of 8 is 4. That was the first thing that we did, and then we halved that number again. So you half it and half it again to find a quarter. Okay, so here's half and here is a quarter. Okay, so you can do diagrams to help you through. Some of these numbers you might be able to divide by 4 straight away instead of halving and halving. Okay, so have a good go. If you're feeling a bit lost, I would recommend watching this video again, starting right back from the beginning. Message me if you